Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because today we're diving deep into one of the most explosive moments in daytime television history, the shocking incident where legendary actress Marla Gibbs was abruptly kicked off the Jennifer Hudson Show following a firing exchange that left everyone stunned. Imagine this: the studio lights blazing bright, the audience buzzing with anticipation, and two powerhouse women, Marla Gibbs, the iconic sassy maid Florence Johnston from the Jeffersons, and Jennifer Hudson, the Grammy-winning powerhouse with a voice that could shatter glass, set to share laughs and stories. But what started as a celebration of Marla's illustrious career spiraled into chaos faster than you can say wheezy. It all unfolded on a seemingly ordinary episode back in early 2025, when Marla, at 93 years young, graced the stage to promote her latest ventures and reminisce about her golden days in Hollywood. Jennifer, ever the gracious host, kicked things off with warm applause, praising Marla as a trailblazer who broke barriers for black women in comedy. The crowd ate it up, cheering as Marla settled into the plush guest chair, her signature wit already sparkling through her smile. But beneath that poised exterior, tensions were brewing. Rumors had swirled for weeks about backstage friction, whispers of diva clashes and unspoken grudges from industry overlaps. As the cameras rolled, Jennifer leaned in with her trademark enthusiasm, asking Marla about her time on The Jeffersons, that groundbreaking sitcom that redefined family dynamics in the 70s. Marla chuckled, launching into a tale about how she auditioned on a whim after waitressing, her eyes lighting up as she described locking eyes with Sherman Hemsley for the first time. The audience was hooked, hanging on every word, but then came the pivot, the question that ignited the fuse. Jennifer, perhaps innocently, brought up a recent interview where Marla had shaded modern talk shows, calling them flashy but soulless compared to the heartfelt banter of old-school variety hours. Marla's expression shifted, her laugh turning sharp, and in that moment, the air thickened like storm clouds rolling in. What followed was no scripted skit, it was raw, unfiltered emotion clashing like thunder. Jennifer pressed gently, "Marla, you've seen it all. How do you think shows like mine stack up?" And oh boy, did Marla let loose. "Honey, back in my day, we had substance, not just songs and sob stories," she quipped, her tone laced with that Florence edge, but the barb landed harder than intended. The audience gasped, a ripple of unease spreading as Jennifer's smile faltered for a split second. Undeterred, Marla doubled down, weaving in anecdotes about Norman Lear's genius versus today's cookie-cutter formats, her voice rising with the passion of someone who's earned her stripes. Jennifer tried to steer back, injecting humor with a line about her own EGOT journey, but Marla wasn't having it. "EGOT, that's cute, but where's the grit, the real talk?" she fired back, her eyes flashing with the fire of decades in the trenches. The exchange escalated, words flying like sparks from a welder's torch, Marla accusing the show of prioritizing spectacle over stories, Jennifer defending her platform as a space for authentic voices. Staffers in the control room exchanged panicked glances, producers whispering furiously into headsets, but the cameras kept rolling, capturing every heated syllable. It was electric, uncomfortable, mesmerizing, a clash of eras, icons colliding in a way that exposed the underbelly of fame. As the back and forth intensified, with Marla gesturing wildly and Jennifer's responses growing terser, the breaking point arrived. A stage manager signaled frantically, but it was Jennifer who finally snapped, her voice steady but steel-edged. "Marla, perhaps it's time we wrap this up." The words hung heavy, the audience frozen in shock. Marla stood, dignity intact but fire undimmed, tossing one last zinger, "Darlin', I've been wrapped up since before you were born." And just like that, security escorted her off stage, the feed cutting to commercial amid stunned silence. But this was only the beginning. The real drama was just unfolding behind the velvet curtain of celebrity. In the hours that followed, social media erupted. Hashtags like #MarloVsJew trending worldwide, fans divided between Team Legend and Team Luminary. Clips went viral, dissected frame by frame, with pundits on every network weighing in on whether it was generational beef or something deeper, like unresolved industry resentments. Marla's reps issued a terse statement praising her candor, while Jennifer's team spun it as a passionate discussion gone awry. Yet, as we peel back the layers, This wasn't random, it was a powder keg waiting for a match. Fueled by Marla's storied history of speaking truth to power and Jennifer's rise as a force challenging the old guard. To understand the full blaze, we have to rewind to Marla's origins, that unyielding spirit forged in the fires of Detroit's vibrant theater scene, where she honed her craft amid civil rights marches and soul music anthems. Born in 1931 to a family of educators, young Marla soaked up the arts like a sponge, performing in church plays and dreaming of stages bigger than her hometown. By the 60s, she was in L.A., hustling as a receptionist by day and comedian by night at the Players Bench Club, rubbing shoulders with up-and-comers like Richard Pryor. Her big break came with the Jeffersons in 1975, transforming her into a household name overnight. Of Florence, the wisecracking housekeeper with zingers that could fell a giant. Lines like "Who was that lady?" became cultural touchstones, echoing in living rooms across America, challenging racial stereotypes with humor sharper than a switchblade. But success wasn't without scars. Marla weathered typecasting battles, pay disputes, and the heartbreak of losing co-stars like Roxy Roker to illness. Through it all, she remained a pillar, starring in 227, voicing on Martin, even dipping into films like The Visit. At 93, her energy defies age as she's guest starred on shows like Scandal, penned a memoir, and advocates for senior representation in Hollywood. Enter Jennifer Hudson, the Chicago phenom whose trajectory reads like a Hollywood script. From American Idol heartbreak to Oscar gold for Dreamgirls, then EGOT immortality with her talk show's launch in 2022, Jennifer's platform became a beacon for underdogs, blending music, motivation, and mayhem. But whispers persisted of her struggling to fill the shoes of legends like Oprah. Their worlds intersected at industry galas, award nods, and mutual admiration societies. But cracks shot. Marla once quipped in a podcast about newbies forgetting the blueprint, a veiled nod that stung. Fast forward to that fateful taping, rehearsals ran long, egos flared over segment timing, and by airtime, the vibe was volcanic. As Marla recounted her Lear meeting, how the visionary spotted her talent amid a sea of hopefuls. Jennifer nodded, but her follow-up probed too deep into Marla's not dead yet role, implying it was a nostalgic cash grab. That lit the fuse. Marla's retort, "Child, I'm not dead yet, and neither is real talent." The audience tittered nervously, but Jennifer's laugh rang hollow. What ensued was a masterclass in verbal jujitsu, Marla pairing with tales of 70s strikes for fair pay, Jennifer countering with stats on her show's diverse bookings. Voices rose, gestures amplified. Marla's cane tapped emphatically, Jennifer's mic gripped like a lifeline. Offstage, crew members buzzed, one producer reportedly yelling, "Cut the feed." But the director held firm, sensing ratings gold. When the axe fell, Jennifer's polite but firm dismissal it echoed like a gavel. Marla's exit was graceful fury, pausing at the wings to blow a kiss to fans, her whisper audible on hot mix, "They can't handle the heat." The fallout, immediate. TMZ broke it first, footage leaking before the episode even aired, sparking a media maelstrom. Talk radio lit up with callers debating respect versus relevance, while TikTok teens remixed the clash into diss tracks. Marla retreated to her LA home, emerging days later on CBS Mornings with poise, framing it as a teachable tussle. Jennifer addressed it on air next episode, teary-eyed, "Icons clash, it's how we grow." But insiders spill tea, it stemmed from a scrapped co-host pitch involving Marla, nixed for energetic mismatch. As we dissect this, remember these aren't just stars, they're survivors. Their exchange a microcosm of Hollywood's generational tug-of-war. Marla represents the grit that paved roads, Jennifer the polish that widens them. Yet in the heat, truths emerged, about authenticity's cost, ageism's shadow, and the fragility of fame's facade. This incident didn't just shock, it sparked conversations long overdue, reminding us that behind every smile is a story untold. And as we continue unraveling, prepare for the whispers, the what-ifs, and the wild speculations that turned this spat into legend. Now, let's zoom in on the anatomy of that explosive exchange, frame by fiery frame, because every word, every glance, was a powder keg in disguise, revealing layers of unspoken history between these two titans. Picture the set, vibrant blues and golds, Jennifer in a sleek emerald gown that hugs her curves like a second skin, exuding that effortless glow from her post-Oscar glow-up era. Marla, elegant in a tailored pantsuit with pearl accents, her silver hair coiffed to perfection, Kane at her side not as prop but partner in crime. The band plays a funky intro riff, nodding to Marla's soul roots, and Jennifer bounds on stage, arms wide. Give it up for the queen of quips, Marla Gibbs. Applause thunders, but Marla's entrance is measured, a queen surveying her court. They huggle warm, but brief and settle in, mix hot, eyes locked. Jennifer opens light. Marla, 50 years in the game, a spill on that first Jeffersons table read. Marla leans forward, voice like velvet over gravel. Oh, girl, Sherman ad-libbed so hard, I nearly corped right there. Norman said, let her rip, and rip we did. Laughter flows genuine, the crowd leaning in as Marla paints vivid strokes. Isabel Sanford's infectious giggle. The writer's room battles over punchlines that pushed envelopes on race and class. Jennifer mirrors with her own idol war stories, bonding over rejection's sting. And for a beat, it's magic. Two black women owning the narrative, uplifting each other in a space often starved for such synergy. But then, the turn of the innocuous question about legacy lines. Marla, that who was that lady? Did you ever tweak it? Marla's eyes narrow playfully at first. Tried once. Wanted who dat diva. For a flair, but Lear shut it down, said Florence don't play. Chuckles, but Jennifer pushes, and today, with shows like mine, do you think we'd let lines evolve? There it was, the hook buried in flattery. Marla pauses, sips water, then unleashes. Evolve, or devolve into TikTok trends? We built empires on wit, not virality. The studio quiets, a pin drop tension as Jennifer's brow furrows. Virality brings voices to tables we couldn't reach, she counters, voice honeyed but firm, citing her show's spotlights on unsung heroes from Chicago's South Side. Marla scoffs softly, tables? We shattered ceilings, not curated them. Boom of the first volley. What followed was a torrent, Marla railing against algorithm-approved content, Jennifer defending inclusivity quotas as progress, not pandering. Gestures escalated to Marla's free hand slicing air like a conductor of chaos, Jennifer's foot tapping under the desk, a subtle tell of her rising pulse. The audience shifted uncomfortably, some nodding to Marla's barbs, others murmuring support for Jennifer's poise. Off mic, a producer's voice crackled, ease up, but egos don't heed earpieces. Marla dropped a bomb, I've seen hosts rise and fall flash fades, but Florence endures. Jennifer's retort stung, and I've sung for my supper while legends rested on laurels. Gasps rippled. It was personal now, dredging up Marla's semi-retirement phases versus Jennifer's relentless grind. The band leader froze mid-note, stagehands hovering like shadows, ready for the abort signal. But the real shocker, a hot mic caught Marla muttering, laurels earned in blood, not ballots, alluding to her civil rights marches while Jennifer's stardom bloomed in reality TV's glare. Jennifer overheard, her eyes flashing, blood? Try tears on national TV. The volley peaked, the words overlapping in a cacophony of conviction. Marla invoking Pryor's raw truths, Jennifer channeling Aretha's unyielding demand for respect. At 8 minutes in, the director signaled cut, but Jennifer powered through, her host instincts kicking into pivot to applause. Yet Marla stood her ground, cane planted. Respect is earned, not edited. That's when the dam broke. Jennifer, voice cracking with authority, Marla, I appreciate your fire, but this stage has rules. Marla rose slowly, regal as ever. Rules? I wrote them before this show's pilot. Security approached gently, ushering her toward the exit amid polite applause laced with shock. As curtains metaphorically fell, the green room buzzed. Marla venting to her daughter Angela L. Wing, co-star on Not Dead Yet, about kids forgetting the recipe, while Jennifer huddled with execs, tears of frustration welling. Leaked audio later revealed producers debating, ratings rocket or cancellation catalyst. Social feeds ignited immediately. X, formerly Twitter, ablaze with threads analyzing every inflection of Marla's baritone boom versus Jennifer's soprano snap. Fans unearthed old clips, Marla's 227 sass mirroring Florence, Jennifer's Dreamgirls fire echoing Effie, Pundits piled in a variety called it generational grenade. The Root framed it as elders versus empires. But dig deeper, and it's richer. This clash echoed Marla's 1980s feud with CBS over 227's direction. Jennifer's 2008 family tragedy fueling her fierce protectiveness. Insiders whisper of a pre-tape slide to Marla's segment shortened for a sponsor slot, breeding resentment. As the day wore on, statements flew, Marla's camp plotting her unscripted authenticity, Jennifer's emphasizing mutual admiration derailed. Yet, the viral clips amassed millions of views, turning infamy into infamy's goldmine. This wasn't mere meltdown, it was manifesto, a raw dialogue on evolution's price in entertainment's ever-shifting sands. Marla, post-exit, texted pals, "She'll thank me one day." Jennifer, in private, reportedly admired the guts, "That's why she's legend." As we transition to the backstage betrayals, remember a fame's facade cracks loudest in collision, and this one reverberated far beyond studio walls, reshaping narratives for icons and newcomers alike. The what-if slinger. Could a commercial break have cooled it? Would a co-written segment have harmonized? But no, in the end, it was inevitable. Two flames too bright to dim. Delving into the immediate aftermath feels like sifting through Hollywood's hottest dumpster fire, where every tweet, every tabloid tidbit, fueled the frenzy surrounding Marla Gibbs' unceremonious boot from the Jennifer Hudson Show, transforming a single spat into a cultural earthquake that shook the foundations of daytime TV. Within minutes of the feed cutting to ads of those awkward plugs from Morning Save gold eye patches that now seemed comically tone-deaf as the internet became a battlefield, TMZ dropped the first bomb, grainy footage of Marla's exit, her cane clicking defiantly against the polished floor. Jennifer's face a mask of composed regret as she segued to the next bit with a forced grin. Views skyrocketed to 10 million by hour's end, surpassing even beyond Copyright's latest drop. X exploded a hash Marla Gibbs kicked out topped charts, with users from boomers to zoomers weighing in. Marla spoke facts. "Judd can't handle real tea," tweeted one fan, attaching a Jeffersons meme of Florence slamming doors. Counterposts flooded. "Respect your host, Queen," or noted Jennifer built this empire from scratch. Polarization peaked when Angela L. Wing, Marla's daughter, posted a cryptic egg story, a black and white photo of her mom on the 227 set, caption "Legacy greater than likes." Jennifer's loyalists rallied, sharing clips of her show's heartwarming moments, like reuniting lost families or amplifying HBCU choirs. But the shade, deliciously layered. Comedians like D.L. Hughley jumped in with podcasts, cackling, Marla's 93 going on 30, a girl bodied the stage. While Whoopi Goldberg, on The View, mediated, "It's passion, not pettiness, we've all been there." Mainstream media piled in. CNN's pop culture panel dissected it as ageism alert, highlighting how Marla's candor clashed with youth-obsessed execs. The New York Times ran a think piece, "When Icons Collide, the Gibbs-Hudson Rift and TV's Generational Divide," quoting sociologists on power dynamics in black excellence spaces. Ratings for the episode, stratospheric, up 40% from average, proving controversy's currency. Behind scenes, chaos reigned. Warner Brothers execs convened emergency Zooms, debating edits to soften the blow, but purists argued rawness was the sell. Jennifer, holed up in her dressing room, scrolled feeds with her team, a mix of hurt and hustle in her eyes. "Did they think I'm the villain? Watch me flip this." By evening, she posted a gracious tough love from a legend at Marla Gibbs, grateful for the lesson in fire. More stories soon. Marla, from her Encino sanctuary, tuned into reruns of her glory days, chuckling at fan edits syncing her zingers to trap beats. Her phone buzzed non-stop, calls from old co-stars like J.K. Copyright Harry, who FaceTimed, "Sis, you slayed, they just ain't ready." Public reaction skewed generational. Elders hailed Marla as truth-teller, millennials backed Jennifer's innovation, Gen Z mimed it into oblivion with ID fakes of Florence judging Hudson's Dreamgirls audition.